Good afternoon, everyone. We are starting the press conference of Prime Minister of the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Zoran Zaev, and the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. First, we'll hear from both of them, and afterwards we'll have 2+2 questions from the media. Prime Minister, thank you. Distinguished President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, distinguished Ambassador David Gear, distinguished members of the press, distinguished citizens. Today we welcome our dear friend and strong supporter of the Republic of North Macedonia, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. It is no coincidence that we decided to hold our press conference here at the Youth Cultural Center. The connection between young people and Europe is unbreakable, just like the connection between the youth here and our Youth Cultural Center. Allow me, on behalf of the citizens and in my name, and especially on the young, to extend the appreciation for the support EU has provided for the refurbishment of this object, which bears great importance as an iconic place for many generations of our citizens. Together, we visited the exhibition for the benefits of the Youth Guarantee. This project is being successfully implemented in North Macedonia as the single country that is not a member of the EU. This project included 60,000 young people in order to reduce the unemployment among them. During this visit of the President, we will sign memorandum which will enable EU to award 2.6 million euros to North Macedonia for the support of the budget. This support from the beginning of the pandemic was about 220 million euros. All the content of this visit of Madam von der Leyen speak of the intensive dynamic of the cooperation we have with EU in various areas. Before coming to the Youth Cultural Center, we had a meeting in the government. We discussed the current phase of Republic of North Macedonia's process of EU membership, while at the same time addressing Brussels' strategic agenda for enlargement of the Union with Western Balkans country. The visit of the President of the European Commission to our country is part of her visit to the region in anticipation of the EU Summit for Western Balkans that will take place on October the 6th in Slovenia. During our meeting in the government, I expressed my hopes that the leaders of EU's member states will reaffirm the Brdo-Kranj Declaration, confirming their commitment to the enlargement of EU with Western Balkans country. This declaration was adopted when Slovenia took over the EU presidency. Blocking this process is not in the spirit of this commitment. We believe that we need a new impetus that will accelerate the decision-making process, because any continuation of the blockage feeds and encourages the retrograde forces who are opposing the European unity and values. The blockage of the operational start of the negotiations approved in March last year reflected negatively throughout the region and threatens the trust towards EU as a credible partner. EU's values are also values of the candidate countries from the Western Balkans. We have accepted and we further developed these values. Part of these values, such as inclusion, mobility, tolerance, justice, and solidarity, being European values practiced by the EU itself, is directly questioned due to this blockage. We took all necessary steps and we made all required reforms. We'll take the additional acceptable steps to unblock EU's enlargement, and we expect that Bulgaria will unlock this process and will approve the negotiation framework pursuant to the opinion of all other 26 member states. Our progress towards EU integration should mainly depend on the domestic reforms related to the chapters, the acquis, and the achievement of the European standards. So far, we have, in the spirit of the good neighborly relations, we will intensify the relations with Bulgaria to make closer steps to solution of our issues. So far, we have presented readiness and constructive contribution to resolving the bilateral issues through mutual respect and protection of the national dignity. However, questions of identity simply cannot be subject of negotiations. We are happy that Bulgaria sends signals of understanding on these issues that are part of the European values. We will continue on the path of reforms through Action 2021 and Europe at Home. We have seriously implemented the European values, and the EU must find the formula to keep its promise and to continue the enlargement on the Western Balkans. This process has no alternative. That is why we remain committed to our strategic goal, that is EU membership through overall implementation of the European values and standards in the Republic of North Macedonia. Once again, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of our people, on behalf of the government, for the visit that the President pays to North Macedonia, because this is a great encouragement for us to continue on our path to a full-fledged membership in the European Union. Now I invite the President of the European Commission to take the floor.
Prime Minister, dear Zoran, I come as a friend and as a partner. And I'm very pleased to visit Skopje the same month that you celebrate the 30th anniversary of your country. So again, congratulations, and thank you very much for the very warm welcome. And thank you for bringing me here to this Youth Cultural Center to see what we can achieve together. It was heartwarming and moving to see the young people who get a perspective for their future careers or who are ambassadors for the European Union with so much dedication, so much motivation. It is a place that is like a symbol. Outside at the door, I have seen Le Petit Prince, the Little Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and that is a tale of friendship, basically. So this symbol, that is also one that unites us, the European Union, and North Macedonia. Indeed, the future of North Macedonia is in the European Union. We want you by our side. And the European Commission and me, myself, we are firmly standing by this commitment. You can rely on us. You have made outstanding progress and taken courageous decisions. And I really want to commend you for that. I want to praise you for that. And I want to be very clear, now it's on the European Union to deliver. The European Union and North Macedonia are already joining forces. For example, now fighting COVID-19 on two strands. The fight is not over. On one hand, we have to speed up vaccination. We have to overcome the pandemic, and on the other hand, we have to strengthen our economy that has been badly hit by the lockdowns and by the paralyzation of the overall global economy. So Team Europe is by your side in that too. We have donated 275 million vaccines doses to 275,000, it was a bit too big. Vaccine doses to North Macedonia. And I know at the very beginning that was a slow process. It was hard to get going. Now we have delivered, and more is to come. You can rely on that. But we also know it's not only the vaccines that are important, but it's vaccination. So here I want to call on all to get vaccinated, because it is so important that you not only protect yourself through the vaccination, but that you also protect your beloved ones, others, because we don't want to have a pandemic of the unvaccinated with all the risks of variants. So here are now the vaccines, and it is so important really to overcome this pandemic by getting the vaccination that is necessary. I really want to commend North Macedonia that you have been the first country in the region to join our EU COVID digital certificate. So congratulations on that. We know how important tourism is in the region, this beautiful region I could see while driving through it. And I'm sure that the COVID-19 certificates are also bringing back the tourists, and it eases, of course, the travel from North Macedonia, for example, to European Union countries without any difficulties if you have the double vaccination. On the recovery, the European Union is investing significantly to address the emergency of the crisis that COVID-19 has created. And we mobilized a lot of funding in the European Union. We also mobilized 3.3 billion euro here for support for the region. And indeed, as you said, North Macedonia has received 220 million in grants and financing. This was so important for the medical supply you needed, but also the wider regional economic recovery package and to support the healthcare system. Now, that is the crisis right now. Now we also have to look forward in the economic sector. We want a lasting recovery in North Macedonia, because just like in the European Union, the people of North Macedonia, the youth of North Macedonia I've just met, deserve a greener, a more digital future, and that's something we can build together. And I very much welcome the launch of your Green Deal campaign. I commend you for that. This is bringing you closer to the European Union. It's protecting our common resources, and it's about a prosperous future. So plenty of opportunities for good jobs, for well-paid jobs that are so important here in the region. This also is what the economic and investment plan for the Western Balkan is all about. As you know, we put 9 billion euro on the table. And what we need, and we've started that work, is from your side, quality, mature project that you decide on, you design, and with that we can leverage up to 20 billion euros on top. So this is a common work we started this year already. We started this year with 500 million euros in investments. And I'm very glad to announce that as things are progressing so smoothly, we're able to put up another 600 million euros this year for the same cause. So the projects are good. We need more of that, and then we can make this plan a success, and that is a joint success. We have been working hand in hand on the best projects. For example, just to give you an example, the gas interconnections with Kosovo and Serbia, or the solar panel plant, that all offer great potential. And for us, it's important that this economic and investment plan really brings jobs to the region and growth to the region, because that is important for the integration within the region. And I think the 6 partners must move forward quickly on the common regional market. That is key for the success of our plan. And a speedier progress, of course, also speeds up the European Union accession process. And a word on that. This is a topic, indeed, I discussed at length with you, with your government, the ministers. And as I said, I fully support from the bottom of my heart, the formal opening of the accession negotiation. You have a partner in me, a strong supporter. And I want these accession negotiations opened with North Macedonia and Albania as soon as possible. I call on you not to lose faith. We've gone so far. You've gone such a long way. You have made so much progress. I really commend you for that. Now let's go this extra mile. It will really pay off. And as I said, you have the full support. You have many, many friends in the European Union and in the Commission. And let's work hard so that we reach our goal to have the first intergovernmental conference before the end of the year. That is our common goal. I really commend you also on the progress that North Macedonia has done on EU-related reforms, in particular on the rule of law, the fight against corruption and organized crime. It is so important to keep this momentum and continue with that, and I'm sure this will be rewarded. Now, I'm very much looking forward to meeting you or seeing you again next week at the summit, the EU Western Balkan Summit we will have in Slovenia. There also we will chart the course of our common future. And I also want you to fully take part in the conference on the future of Europe, because North Macedonia has a lot to contribute. We've seen the young people. We want to hear their voices. It's their future. They should shape the conference on the future of Europe because it's their and our common European future. And on the very last note on youth, indeed, I'm very happy today to hand over to you the grant of 2.6 million euros for your successful achievements with the EU for Youth budget support. The program has supported many unemployed young people and has given them a perspective. So what could be better than investing in youth and in our common future? And first of all, I put on my mask. And then I'm very glad to hand over this envelope to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is yours. That's a lot in it. Thank you.
Ви благодариме. Продолжуваме со делот новинарски прашања. Предвидени се 2+2, 2 за премиерот Заев, 2 за председателката фон дер Лајен. Телма телевизија, Тамара, повелете.
Добар ден. Имам прашање.
Good afternoon. One question for the President of the European Commission, Madam von der Leyen. This morning in Tirana, you said that you expect and that the goal of the European Commission wants to start intergovernmental conferences towards the end of the year. Now you said that North Macedonia should not lose hope and should take one step further, the last step. What is this step that you expect? What is the plan of the European Commission? Could this be December maybe? When do you expect this to happen?
So we are working hard on both sides with many talks, also with Bulgaria, that we overcome this last hurdle. And there are many good ideas that are really worth going in depth, that we overcome, as I said, this last obstacle to start the first intergovernmental conference. And our goal is to start it with North Macedonia and Albania before the end of the year. There's a lot of work going on. I think it is a good process that there's a lot of talking also to go on behind the scenes, because there are many topics that can be settled with a good dialogue, a good investment of good ideas, how to solve these problems. The overall goal is really to start now the accession process. That should not be hindered anymore by these topics. So therefore, as I said, our goal is till the end of the year to start the first intergovernmental conference.
Teuta Portal.
Teuta Portal, question for Prime Minister Zaev. Good afternoon. I have a question for Prime Minister Zaev. As I heard, the last events between Serbia and Kosovo, how do you look at that? And do you think that Serbia should support this initiative, having in mind these events? Thank you for your question. I see dialogue and talks as something very important. I regard them as very important, and I want to see any form of leaders sitting on a table and discussing possible solutions. I truly hope that our whole region will sit at the table and will discuss on all issues. The events in Kosovo and the events between the two countries are not very pleasant, and we can appeal that all parties should stop sending such negative messages in the region. We are the Balkans of the 21st century, and we should behave as such. We should behave as countries who want to be full-fledged members of the European Union. And in that spirit, I'm convinced that we should use all the opportunities that we have at our disposals of dialogue, partnerships, bilateral, multilateral discussions. I will reiterate, the Berlin process is the best that could have happened to the Western Balkan on its path to EU membership. And I'm glad that the President of the European Commission will continue to focus on the Western Balkans through the Berlin process. And I believe that the future German Chancellor will continue the Berlin process. But we can always do something more at home, and we're doing this bilaterally. North Macedonia is friend with all its neighbors and with all member states within the Western Balkans. And I believe that on multilateral level, this could only contribute, because developed democratic world, the European Union taught us that we need to talk to find solutions and to use dialogue that will be beneficial for our citizens. Lepa, TV24. I have a question to the President of the European Commission. If the dispute with Bulgaria is not resolved, will the package North Macedonia, Albania be decoupled in the spring? Thank you.
Yes, it is now very important to focus on delivering now. This is my main focus, and I want both countries, North Macedonia and Albania, to start the negotiation, the intergovernmental conference, the accession process, and we should really focus on delivering now. By now, I mean till the end of the year. This is my whole concentration now on that issue in the way I've described it. And perhaps, if I may comment what you just said, I really thank you for your words too, because I'm very concerned and worried about the current crisis between Serbia and Kosovo, and indeed, it is important now to de-escalate and to sit down at the negotiation table. As you mentioned, dear Zoran, the European Union has a long history, and it has been built exactly on the dialogue and on close economic cooperation. Of course, our values play a dominant role, that is the rule of law, and these are defending the European values. But when we started more than 70 years ago, and after an incredibly horrible part of our history with World War II, there was a lot of dialogue necessary, a lot of cooperation necessary, so that slowly but surely the wounds could heal, friendship developed, and on the basis of trust, dialogue, and friendship, then reconciliation also came. And therefore, again, the negotiation table, where you talk to each other, is so important, and I want to thank you for your words.
Mateja, Alfa Televizija, pogledajte.
Alpha TV, please. Question to Prime Minister Zaev. Are there real chances to reach an agreement with Bulgaria towards the end of the year? And former President Branko Crvenkovski said that this agreement brings only bad things. Excuse me? He said that this agreement brings only bad things for North Macedonia. Any comment on this? I sincerely believe, just as the European Commission believes and hopes, that towards the end of the year, towards the end of December, that we will find a solution based on European values, on European rules, where identity issues are very important. We nurture all European identities here, and we want our Macedonian identity and our Macedonian language to be well nurtured. And I'm glad that we have positive signals on that part. When it comes to the other part, I have commented numerous times, the roadmap that will help us to improve and accelerate the cooperation in pursuance to the agreement for neighborhood and friendship. This involves no interference in the interior affairs, and I believe that the Portuguese proposal, and which was later accepted by the Slovenian presidency, will be used, and that we'll find the solution around those proposals. We should nurture the spirit of good neighborhood relations, of friendship. Both sides should do this, the Bulgarian and our. We are first neighbors, and we have excellent cooperation, and I believe that we owe this to our current and future generations. Afterwards, we will take the first half step, if I can say, the first intergovernmental conference. President Cervenkovski said something, and I would not like to comment on this. He has his own views. I am presenting my own views daily before you, before the members of the press, and before our people. And I think that the agreement is very important. Any agreement is important, and it can only bring something that is good, something that is European. Europe taught us throughout this 70 years how to use the dialogue to heal the wounds from World War II, as President von der Leyen said. And by building the economic cooperation, any type of cooperation, we will provide better life for our citizens. I'm convinced that the dialogue, the diplomacy, the friendship, the offered hand, taking care of the other party, are the only way, the European way of finding solutions. And we will continue in this European manner, in this European behavior, to show Europe, but also to show at home that we deserve to be a member of the European Union. We're completing the press conference of Prime Minister Zaev and the President of the European Commission. Have a good day. Goodbye.